Hey everyone, and welcome to Elsewhere in the Multiverse, the comic book podcast from Elfuzz TV. This is now our new format. This is now a two-part show on YouTube. This is part 2. This is the B episode of the week. We're going to be talking about War of the Realms issue 1 and Die issue 5. Yes, only 2 books, but we also have news. So we have news first, and then those 2 books. So that's what's coming up. So yeah, we got some news, and it's interesting because all this news did break after, like between the first and the second half of the shows in terms of recording.
We wouldn't have been able to do this at the start of the show in the traditional slot.
But it means it's more fresh, at least for folk on YouTube. So I would argue the biggest thing, there's a couple of Marvel books to get to, but I'd argue the biggest thing, mainly because of how it's happening and the surprise of it, is a Boom Studios announcement.
I agree. I think the Marvel books are probably just as big in terms of what the titles are. This is a surprise, though, which is why it's.
I'll debate you on
it's a bigger deal.
That last point, but yeah.
I mean, to you, sure. I mean, as just a general concept.
I will sacrifice them all to the dark gods for this
bet
one.
You would.
So obviously we've been reviewing the Buffy comic, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, based on the hit television show, of course. And
of course,
we actually speculate. I think it was on the show itself. Maybe it wasn't.
I'm
It may have been.
It was. Yeah.
Was it on the show itself? We talked about how issue either 4 or 5 of Buffy had a secret cover. The solicits did not have the cover in it, and
yes, it was redacted.
It just said top secret redacted, whatever. And usually when that happens, it means because something in the previous issue would be spoiled if they put the cover out. And we said it's probably Angel.
Yes, because Angel had notably not showed up yet,
and had even been mentioned. They were making a point of not talking about him.
Yeah, exactly. There was some speculation about licensing issues, which led some people to think, okay, just they didn't get the license.
Hold on. By who? There's one person I can think of who said this.
No, I did see some other speculation about this on Twitter.
And he has no credentials to.
He doesn't, but I did see some other people talking about it on Twitter.
I'm just making sure it's just not one person who we happen to know.
No.
So here's the thing. It turns out we were right. Angel's going to debut in issue 4, which is next week. And that's is what it is. And we say next week, not the next week's show, but the week after show for us.
Yes, April 10th, I believe, is the Wednesday that it's coming.
April 17th.
17th? Okay.
That was wildly inaccurate.
Fair enough. I could have sworn I saw the 10th, but I'll take it back.
I'm looking at the article right now. It's the 17th. So yeah, Buffy issue 4 is coming out, and it will indeed introduce Angel. And here's the surprise, though, is that Angel's going to get his own book. Now, that's not a surprise in and of itself. Of course, at Dark Horse, and so he's had his own book for a long time. He always had his own book alongside Buffy. It was kind of just taken for granted that because he got his own TV show, that he always had his own book as well. However, here's the surprise. Issue 0 is coming out on April 17th, the same day as Buffy issue 4.
Yeah, this doesn't relatively unprecedented.
This does not happen in comics really, because comics are solicited 2 months before they came out, and I've not went back and checked, but was there like a mystery book on the Boom solicits that they were just kind of saying, hey?
No. It tells you in the article, because there was one other instance recently I can think of happening this. It was a Kirkman book, I think it was called Die, 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 where that was announced the week before it was released. And they did a similar thing where they matched the orders of so with that they matched whatever you ordered of this last issue of Walking Dead. With this, they're matching the orders for Buffy 3. So Boom told publishers that it'll be an unspecified promotional item would be coming with Buffy 4 in equal quantities to whatever they order of Buffy 3.
Okay, there's at least something to say. Hey, your fans, your readers of this will probably be interested in this.
It will almost certainly be under-ordered, because by the time you get to a 3rd issue, they've already declined from a 1st issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've said already, don't worry, we'll be doing second printings.
Yeah. So Angel issue 0, and we've got a creative team, of course. I mean, it has to have a creative team because it's out in a week, or just over a week. So Brian Edward Hill is going to write. Gleb Melinikov is going to be the artist. And this is actually a really interesting get, because Brian Hill, I've enjoyed his writing on a couple of things.
I think I've liked everything that I've read from him.
Yeah,
Which isn't very much, admittedly.
he had a
But
decent arc on Detective, and then I've been enjoying his Killmonger book at
yeah,
Marvel. Not a lot to go on, but like I like both.
he's 2 for 2 for us, right?
Yeah, so this is good news. I think what's interesting about this, obviously, the Buffy book's been changing a lot of elements and remixing the premise in the early years of what the show was. It's interesting that Angel will immediately have his own series. Like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to separate him? Is he still going to be in Sunnydale? Is he just going to be like in the same town? So we'll have maybe the odd, cameo from other characters and things like that, or are we doing something where he finds a way to leave like really early? Are we not going to have? Because it feels weird not to have the Buffy Angel romance, right?
It does, and I'm looking at it. I'm reading the article now and trying to see if they're, because there's no solicit text for the book, right, of what it is. So we've got an interview here with Hill that I'm kind of just skimming. They're talking about honor. For fans of the show, we're trying to honor that work, update it for 2019, put more meat on the bone. What will be surprising will be the way that we're exploring his past mythology and layers. Interesting world building that will have an effect on Angel the book and perhaps the Buffy book as well.
That sounds like he's still in Sunnydale.
It does. Goes on to tease there would be love stories, as in plural. But don't worry, Buffy is in the mix somewhere. We're going to approach their relationships kind of bittersweet, the tragedy of it, love and its boundaries.
Oh, so we're doing Buffy and Angel, so that's going to be a thing in there.
It's weird because we've got this book launching in a week, and beyond knowing it's the character, I don't actually know what the book is. I don't know. Okay, this is the direction for this book. When Buffy started up, we went to the first issue knowing, okay, it's this retelling, modernizing, changing some things. We had a concept of what the book was going to be to some extent. This, I don't actually know what it's. I don't know what the story is in any way.
Do you know what I like about the covers? There's two covers. It's the same image, but one's like his regular face and one's his vampire face. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Good. That's a neat way of doing variants for him. You could almost do that with every single issue of this ever.
You could. It's almost a cheap way of just going here, knock out a second cover, right? But
yeah, because presumably they'll just use the same base cover and just change the new face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even blame him. Sure, do it.
But
no, it's
I'll give him that. It's smart.
It's interesting. It's exciting. I obviously will be covering it. We'll be looking at it and seeing how it is, and
of course,
how nice is it that we've got a Buffy and an Angel book, both by interesting creators at the same time. I'm in a good mood. Don't you worry. I'll tell you this right now. This will be in the first half for YouTube, but now the show's split in half. So the first half will definitely have both Buffy and Angel.
Yes, I believe we have already accommodated for it.
Yes. I'm looking forward to this, so excited to see what they do with this. Really are, and they also changed the cover of issue 4 of Buffy to add an angel behind Xander, because the Xander part was revealed before. I think it was issue 5 that had it, top secret redacted.
Right. Okay.
Because this Buffy 4 cover with Xander on it, that Xander part of it I've seen before.
I'll be honest with you, I never even looked at it because I don't like those covers.
I know you don't, because you're weird. Even though they're very good.
Yeah, sure.
You're too busy enjoying Matt Kint's art.
Yes, but not on these variants, unfortunately. That'd be cool. Let's get some Matt Kint variants.
Can I buy... If Matt Kint did do a variant, can I buy every other cover to make a statement?
I mean, you can.
Can I get one of every cover except the Matt Kint one, please?
Sure, why not?
And send a note to Diamond with exactly how I phrased that, please.
Yeah. You really want to make a statement about this, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, Angel issue 0 is coming with Buffy issue 4, and we're going to have a Buffy and an Angel book every week, or every month, rather. Oh, every week would be great, but every month.
Yeah. Don't get ahead of yourself.
And we also have Fireflies, so it's nice to be a Whedon fan in comic realms right now. So yeah, for the Marvel books that got announced, then we have an Invisible Woman book. Coming from Mark Waid, solo series for Sue Storm. Yeah,
it's a first ever solo series.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know.
That's news to me, but I'm surprised.
It made a point of saying that in the press release.
Yeah, So yeah, we also have Mattia De Lewis and Adam Hughes on there. I'm assuming Adam Hughes
is
is
just
in
doing
cover.
the covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The article doesn't phrase it very well. It just kind of says they're both on it.
Yeah, it has the actual like solicit information at the bottom.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, there you go. I had so much to say about Angel. I have nothing to say about this.
I mean, it's Mark Waid, so there's at least something to go on.
I do like Mark Waid. I don't know if I care enough about Sue Storm to read a Sue Storm book. I mean, I'll try
That's
it.
fair, but it's only a 5-issue mini, and so far these 5-issue minis have been not too bad from Marvel.
Yeah,
because I mean that Killmonger one and Winter Soldier, of course, we were like, we don't really care about these characters, but we'll try them, and they were both pretty damn good.
Next up, they announced a new Loki book, which is coming in July. It's written by Daniel Kibblesmith with art by Oscar Bazaldua. What's he been doing recently? He's been on something.
I want to say it's Mr. and Mrs. X.
I think so. It sounds right.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, so that's coming in July. Not a lot to say.
Oh, God, you're the worst.
Did you have anything to say about a Loki book?
Well, I mean, I'll talk a little bit more about it after we talk about War of the Realms.
Okay, there you
go.
But
it's interesting, and the cover is got Mjolnir on it, which is something, right? I mean, things play out. They're obviously not giving us a lot of details because of it's coming after War of the Realms, so we'll get more as we get closer, I'm sure. Yeah. Not familiar with Kibblesmith, but I really like Loki's a character. I like all the stuff that Gillen did with him, through Young Avengers, etc. And I liked the Loki Agent of Asgard series. That was I think that was Al Ewing. That was pretty fantastic. But those were all kid/teen Loki. So I mean, I've not read an adult Loki series, but I'm interested.
Okay. And then finally we have a 5-issue mini coming in July as well. Punisher Kill Crew, which is written by Jerry Duggan and art by Jean Ferreira. And I do like Ferreira.
Yeah, that's basically the reason to try it. Is Ferreira.
I'm sure I've tried something from Jerry Duggan and thought it was just kind of.
I think he did a Deadpool run for a while, and I think that's what I tried. But I'm not gonna hold him to. It was a Deadpool run.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily. It's not that indicative of his performance of a writer elsewhere. I know he has a book starting up pretty soon though. He's got that Savage Avengers is him.
I have to admit though, I've never really been into Punisher that much either. So I mean,
me either. But I mean, we'll probably try Savage Avengers when that hits some point soonish.
I don't think I'm going to like that book, but yeah, we can try.
Probably not, but you'll try it.
Stop making promises for things I'll try, damn it.
I said probably. Even I didn't commit to it.
I reserve the right to say no to books with Conan the Barbarian in them.
Even when it's not a Conan book, he's just there.
Yeah, but it sets the tone for what else the book's doing.
Okay.
All right. That's news.
Yes.
This has been your news intermission, which does mean we can get onto the books, and we have two to talk about still. We have, of course, War of the Realms issue 1 by Jason Aaron and Dauterman.
Yes.
I never actually wrote down who done the books, so I just had to do that off the top of my head. I was like, shit, I never put them in a list.
You're slacking.
Oh dear. Yeah. Anyway, so War of the Realms, and I want everyone to know I read like 25 issues of Thor in the last week for this.
You may notice that last week we said, we're moving to this new format. It should mean we get it out on time, right? Mm-hmm. You may notice we're a day late again. That's because Pete had a lot of Thor to read still.
Yes, but going forward it should be better. But yes, this week, because I had so much Thor to read, it was hard to wrap up. I mean, I tried to finish it yesterday, and I got to the point where my eyes were just going to sleep.
You weren't taking any of it in.
Yeah, so I wasn't processing anything.
That was about the point where you still had all of just Thor to read, right? I think you got to about the end of Mighty Thor yesterday.
I read the first couple of Thor yesterday.
Right, there we go. So,
which I will say, I think overall the current Thor is probably one of the weaker sections of Aaron's run. But
I would have agreed with that, except for a handful of issues, which is amongst my favorites.
I like the Roz issue a lot.
Yeah,
I like that one quite a bit. But I wasn't so keen. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't so keen on the first arc of this current Thor series. Was just okay versus a lot of the older stuff.
I'll give you that.
I thought the 2-issue thing in the future felt a bit fan fictiony to me, because it was just like, let's just put all these things together. Oh no!
Oh no, I was into that one.
Oh yeah, you know, Doom shows
Wolverine
up. And he's got Sorcerer Supreme powers. He's got the Star Brand. He's got Ghost Rider powers. I'm like, piss off! No, go away.
Yeah. All right.
I don't like that. And then there was like a one shot around there as well.
Young Thor, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, the Young Thor with Odin.
Yeah.
With the love story thing.
Yeah.
It was okay. I don't know.
I love that issue.
The art wasn't super doing it for me in that issue.
Fair enough. I realised. I think the stand. I will agree. Most of this, I mean, out of the 11 issues, half of it's been it's okay, right? It's pretty good, but it's definitely a step down from Mighty Thor. The standouts are the Roz issue, the Young Thor, and the past 2 issues that focus. One on Odin, one on Freya.
And I did quite like the last arc of Mighty Thor. How do you pronounce? Is it Mangog or Mangog?
I think I don't know.
Okay, I was hoping you'd know.
Mangog? I don't know.
I was saying Mangog, but I thought it could be Mangog.
Yeah, because it's got 2 G's, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was Mangog or Mangog.
I actually don't know.
Like
so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Anyway, so yes, I caught up on a shit ton of Thor. I'll be honest, it makes me not want to look at another Thor comic for months, but I won't have that option.
Here we are with a shitload of Thor coming up.
So
you got 3 months of like Thor every week.
I will say, I think these past 11 issues of Thor, some of it does kind of feel like it's padding in terms of just like stalling to get to the event, because I don't really feel like a lot of it was that important till it being there before this started. That's
fair. I think it's all been, at worst, like, it's still good. Maybe some of it is padding in the sense that, obviously this is 6 issues being put out over 3 months. Dauterman has got to get that done in advance, right?
Yeah.
So, you got to go, right, okay, we need enough time for this to be ready. So maybe it is, maybe they built in some extra time, because obviously all the other books rely on it as well. Just thought we'll pad it out by an extra 2 or 3 months just to be on the safe side, because Marvel have had their fair share of delays with events over the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning this is the first real Marvel event I've read since I think I started Secret Wars, but I never finished it.
Last one you finished, what, AVX?
Yeah, if that was soon before, unless there was something in between AVX and Secret Wars, there might have been like Age of Ultron. Was that in that period?
You read Infinity, didn't you?
I did. Was that before after those?
That was after AVX.
Was it? Yeah, okay. I read Infinity.
Yeah.
Wasting my time. I read so much Hickman Avengers to get up to that event, and I just regretted the whole thing. Such a regret.
Oh, gives me a chuckle every time I know that you suffered through that much Hickman for no good reason.
Mistakes were made. Can you tell I'm excited for the new Hickman X-Men books?
There was actually news on those in the sense that they gave us a little bit of premise stuff.
Oh, I don't care.
I know. I think the only thing that was interesting to me was that they confirmed that there'll be one every week essentially of the issues, and they'll be intertwining stories.
So they're both double shipping essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but because it's intertwining stories, so you need both of them. So it's essentially a weekly book.
Yeah, which by the way, I mean, eagle-eyed listeners might notice that I should have technically been reading an Uncanny X-Men issue this week with these books, and admittedly, it kind of fell victim to the fact that I had to read like 25 issues of Thor.
But you're not that upset about it, are you?
That was the real reason. But I was down in the last issue, and I have to admit, all this Hickman news about it all relaunching in the summer makes me think there's no point in reading the current book, because it's just relaunching in a couple of months anyway.
Yeah. That's how I feel. You know, to go over to our other show on a DC show, that's how I feel about things like Supergirl, where it looks like a perfectly good book. I'm sure I'd enjoy it, but it's only a matter of time before it all gets sucked in.
That's not the exact same thing.
It's a similar thing.
It's not that similar.
It is.
No, because your fear with that is that it gets sucked into the main Superman book because it's heavily tied to it, and because you don't like that, you don't like Bendis.
Yeah.
This is different. This is like the entire thing's being reset again.
No, because I expect Uncanny X-Men to continue alongside this, just get sucked into whatever Hickman does.
Oh, I don't. I think it's done.
Oh, you think it's done completely? Okay. I think they want it around for the name.
I don't think it lasts. I think it goes away.
Fair enough.
It wouldn't surprise me if in July solicits when the Hickman books are launching, if they say final issue for now.
Maybe, yeah.
And if it doesn't, then it's just going to be like it's not the main book anymore because the Hickman books
it's a bit redundant. Yeah.
are clearly the main X-Men books when they start. So
they are.
You know.
Should we talk about War of the Realms?
Oh, let's talk about War of the Realms. Did you like War of the Realms?
I did. I liked it a lot. Did you?
It's fine. It's a Marvel event.
This is it's funny that we keep saying how like the Avengers book is just a little bit behind Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
In tone and scale and feel, this feels remarkably similar to Metal.
I can see that.
And I love that tone and feel, so I'm all in.
And I was, I enjoyed it, but I was mixed at parts. I wasn't as universally in love with it. I feel like this is probably going to have a similar thing. So what happens here? Loki shows up all injured.
Well, we got the first bit on Asgard first.
I know. I was going to say because there's assassins coming and they've already attacked Odin.
Yeah, he looks pretty stabbed up.
He does look pretty stabbed up. So it's left in this ambiguous place where Odin could be dead, but he's probably not because he's Odin.
Because he's Odin, but I mean, he looks relatively dead.
Mm-hmm. Until he's not, because comics.
Oh yeah.
And they end up going to Jotunheim, and like frost giants are there, and this whole thing. But it's not actually Loki. That's the big thing here. It turns out to be Malekith. It's all been a route. The fact about this being a deception is that obviously Loki is known for deception, so it's funny for someone else to use his image to cause a deception. I appreciate the humor in that.
Yeah. I think my only problem with this is I wish Thori hadn't been like, that's not. It doesn't outright say that's not Loki, but it's very clear that's what he was gonna say.
Yeah.
So I felt like the surprise of it was ruined.
A lot of the issue though is basically Malekith's army, all the various giants and so on, are arriving in Midgard. They're arriving in New York. So Spider-Man's there. Obviously, all the Asgardians have been hanging out in the Bronx. They're there.
Yeah, you see Punisher at one point, Daredevil.
Yeah, there's basically a couple of pages where it's like all these heroes are hearing the chaos as they arrive, and there's that big 2-page spread of all the various beings arriving.
Yeah.
Gorgeous 2-page.
Pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's I have a lot of complaints about the art. There's one or two. There's one panel where Captain America looks like he's about 14, but other than that, like the art's pretty good.
I didn't spot that particular panel. I'll take your word for that. On the topic of art, when you've just read most of the Thor stuff from Aaron,
mm-hmm.
Who's been your favorite artist out of the three main ones?
Not the recent one.
Del Mundo.
Not Del Mundo.
The recent one. So it's between Ribic and Dauterman.
For Thor, I don't know if it's necessarily my favourite artist out of the two, but for Thor specifically, probably Ribic.
Really? Okay. I get because when I remember first reading God of Thunder and thinking, holy crap, this is exactly what it should be. And then it got to Dauterman with the Thor and my Thor stuff, and I just think it's better. And I think a large part of that is Wilson's colors.
I think it may be better art overall. I don't necessarily think it's better suited to Thor though than Ribic's.
Fair enough.
Sometimes just pairing the right artist with the right character
No, I get that.
can elevate certain styles over others,
I get that.
or whatever.
But this is a prime example of why Wilson is my favorite colorist in comics, because his work, it looks like nothing else. His colors, there's no one else that comes close to getting the effect that he does with these huge bright colors popping everywhere. Yet everything still looks really clean.
14 was a bit harsh, but I still stand by. He looks like a baby face.
Where am I looking?
It's the page after Iron Man and Captain Marvel show up. The page after that, he's with what's her face? Not Freya, the other one.
Yeah, I see it.
He looks like a baby face, like 17-year-old who's just shaved for the first time.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's kind of a quick issue actually in terms of talking about it, because I feel like it is just the army shows up, the Avengers all kind of assemble.
The recruit and everything gets going, right?
Yeah, fighting happens. And there's some funny stuff, the Laufey being like, I think it's Laufey. If it's not Laufey, it's a Frost Giant of some kind. He's like, is there any Vikings in here? It's been a while since I've been to Earth, and he's looking in a building. He's like, oh, is there Vikings in there? I cracked me up. I thought it was funny. That was funny.
Yeah. And then you have Laufey kind of taking a bite out of Loki.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's taking a bite out of he just swallows him whole, does he not?
Well, no, he's in half.
Is he?
He chomps. He's got his legs sticking out still.
Sure, I still think he swallows them though. I don't think he spits them out.
I mean, sure, you might be right, but
I took that more as he's just chewing as he's going down, as opposed to
fair enough.
As opposed to actually chomping him in half.
Yeah, you could be right. Which is interesting. Obviously, the Thor issues that are coming up will be dealing with Loki side of things, and Laufey is what they are. So that'll be interesting. Obviously, we just got a new book announced for Loki, and it's so. I'm wondering.
Are you telling me Loki's not actually dead?
Well, no.
Are you telling me that?
Of course he's not. My question was, is it going to be directly, okay, no, it's just this Loki, or they're doing another thing similar to Kid Loki, where it was kind of another Loki for a while. Things changed.
It's probably this Loki.
Probably just this Loki. That's fair.
So. I feel like the Loki in Thor is going to be this Loki, and it'll just be, he's alive inside Laufey or something, I don't know.
Maybe.
He'll cut his way out, I don't know. Or it'll be a backstory, I have no idea. But they're basically like, okay, there was like several Thors for a while there. We had the War Thor, we had Lady Thor, and now there's no Thors. Where the hell's Odin's son? Because he's stuck in Jotunheim. And that's where the book abruptly comes to a close, and I was surprised.
You're like, where's the rest of it?
I know. What's happening? It's fine, it looks gorgeous. It is basically just the first big combat issue of an event though. Which
it is. And
while obviously Aaron's very good, the art's very good, I've read this issue before numerous times in very many forms. Enemies show up in hell, Avengers issue 1 with the giants falling out of the sky. Very similar kind of setup to this issue.
I agree. I think it gets away with it on, for me at least, it gets away with it on tone and just being so well done at that. Like I had a blast reading this.
It's not even so much I think tone, although the tone's fine. I think why it gets away with this is that it's actually not issue 1 of something. It's actually, there's been like 40, 50 issues of Thor building up to this. This just happens to be the start of the fight.
Yeah. It's actually been quite a lot of Thor for this run, hasn't there?
Oh, there's been tons of Thor for this run.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. You got at least 60 odd issues, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be over 75 by the time he's done.
Yeah, because God of Thunder was like 26.
Thor was 8.
8, so it's 32, and then
Thor's was like 5 or 6.
Oh, so Thor.
Mighty Thor was 23.
Yeah. So that's already about 60, 65-ish.
Add 11 for this current Thor.
Yeah. You're already in the mid-70s.
I mean, hell, when it comes to getting the omnibuses ready in a few years' time, if all the tie-ins to War of the Realms get concluded, it'll be over 100 issues for the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Which, which is fine.
It's a hefty run. And he did confirm there will be like an epilogue arc after War of the Realms in Thor.
That makes sense.
End with this.
That makes sense. And the pacing is going to be good. It's coming every 2 weeks, so we're going to have a 3-month period of the event.
Tie-ins out the wazoo.
Some of which I'll try, some of which I will not.
That's fair. Earlier on, Aaron was tweeting out the read-in checklist for War of the Realms. But if you look at it, it's not actually ordered. It's just, here's the chunk of, I think it's labeled as Act 1.
Yeah, so it's at the back of the issue. I assume it's just in a week where the main book is out, you just always read the main series first.
Yes, with the exception of for issue 12, which comes out the same week as War of the Realms 2, can be read before that.
I probably won't, but
yeah, but you could, say you wanted to, because that just continues on from this issue with the Loki side of things. So you don't need to have read issue 2 for that one.
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to enjoy this. I don't think I'm going to be all gushing over it like you probably will be.
That's fair.
Admittedly, I think I'll probably enjoy issue 2 more just because I didn't have to binge 25 issues before I read this.
Tends to help.
Because right now I want to throw Thor out the window and curse his name. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was actually it was big, bombastic, all those things.
Witty banter,
Some witty banter. Spider-Man, try to steal the show as always.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Sif was a fun combination.
Yeah, Man of Spiders, Spider Boy, various other spider names that were using at him.
Yeah,
fun. But there you go. That is War of the Realms issue 1. What you giving it?
I'm giving it 8.5 because I loved it.
I will go 1 point lower. I'll say 7.5.
Fair enough.
Solid in its execution, but just typical. Everyone starts fighting because things show up.
Yes, it's not inaccurate.
So, which will take us on to the final book of the show, which is Die issue 5. Which is obviously Kieron Gillen, writing with, oh god, I forgot her name.
Stephanie Hands.
Stephanie Hands on art, thank you. Again, I usually have these all on a list that I can just look at.
Yeah. Shambles.
I'm getting used to the new format because we don't sit and record the whole thing in one go anymore.
Yeah, because obviously usually we spend 5 minutes beforehand just going through all the books, okay, there's all the names.
So yeah, this is the end of the first arc. We ended the last issue with them deciding to destroy Glasstown to get Saul's attention, and this is kind of them enacting that plan.
Yeah, you have a wonderful first page, set back in 85 before all this happens, kind of just typifying why this will work on Saul, right? He's built this Lego castle, and he's like, no, don't take it apart. It's finished. Just leave it as is. He's always been a meticulous little prick.
I can relate.
Yeah, I bet you can.
You put my movies on the shelf out of order, we're going to have words.
Yeah. And if I try, you'll change the damn rules of physics just to make it work.
So it's funny because I was like not sure I was even going to read this issue because I was I wasn't feeling super hot about the last few. I liked the first issue, but I wasn't super into the if you go back and listen to my thoughts, you'll know that.
Progressively a little bit less interested each time.
Yeah. And I was like, I've got so much Thor to read, it'd probably just be easier to not read it. And I was like, no, read it because it's the end of the arc. At least finish the arc. And well, the one thing you said that was interesting, you said this will make or break it for you one way or the other. And I'm curious as to why you said that. Before I give my thoughts on it, why did you? What about it made you think that this would either convince me?
I think with the ending, it throws this little twist, shall we say? More of a feature of what the story is going to be going forward. Where I feel like if that grabs your attention, you'd want to carry on reading because it's quite an interesting concept. But if it didn't, I think it's not that there was anything in it that would instantly turn you off and make it any worse for you than it had been already. It would just be whether or not that reinvigorated any interest going forward.
Yeah, so this thing is they actually defeat Saul. Their plan works, and the caveat at the end though is that a couple of them basically decide that they don't want to go back home.
I think it's mainly Chuck starting it off.
Chuck, even though his life is not too bad in the real world, he likes being here. He likes elves. He likes feeling like a hero. He likes all these things. And then Isabel's like, yeah, my life's pretty shitty, and she actually cares about the people here because they said they were going to treat them as if they're real, and they're leaving all these people to just be miserable if they don't stick around and help. Here's my thing though with this. This feels fairly out of the blue to me.
Do you think?
When Chuck, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's out of the blue that they might have these ideas. My problem is that it immediately becomes this ultimatum with them splitting into a faction, and I didn't really feel like it built up to the point where they feel this strongly about it.
Fair enough. I guess it worked for me in the sense that, especially playing into the characters, Chuck's the fool. He's, he just does, when he's in character, he's doing stupid things just because it works out for him. So him immediately going, do you know what? I'm having a lot of fun here. This is all right. Maybe I don't want to go back. Whereas then the others, of course, the rule that was set up is they all need to agree to go back. That's the rules. Well, the others are immediately like, hang on, we want to go back. Now you're keeping us here against our will. That's why they split off so harshly.
Yeah,
I think Isabel's the only wild card, so to speak, in that I wouldn't have necessarily predicted she'd want to stay.
Yeah, she seems to stay for very different reasons than Chuck, but
yes, more of a escapism.
Whereas the others are like, no, because they're trying to debate this, and Ash is like, no, I'm not trading my kids for a magic arm just because I've got like an arm here. Like, no,
yeah,
I'm going home, damn it. So I mean, that was fine. I thought it took some of the bite out of the ending, because the ending in the last time is that we're going to have to like destroy this place and kill everyone. And then this issue, now they may not have used those words, but the implication and the reason why I thought the ending of the last issue was so interesting is because it sounded like they were just going to murder everyone. And in this issue, they go out of their way to save everyone.
They do. That's fair.
And obviously, if we've got heroic characters that we want to like, that's fine. Like I get why you're doing that, but
you'd have preferred that the moral quandary of it.
Yeah, if you're going to just assume these people aren't real, even though they feel real, they're actually just creations of this world. And then there's a reveal in this issue as well that these essentially the zombies of the world are actually people. The fallen. They used to be the people who came here, and this is what happens when they died. But if they kill one of the people who are still players, then they get to live again. Which
that really interested me as a rule, because it changed them from just, we had the Tolkien issue, I think it was issue 3, and it established the Fallen as essentially being just orcs, right?
Yeah.
They're just mindless, just doing whatever. This kind of changes them completely, because it makes them these fallen beings, right? Fallen people, and it's this base instinct to survive, essentially, which is what's driving them. That made it more interesting to me. It flipped it on its, because a typical zombie thing, it is survival in the sense that they eat, right? They just have that instinct. Whereas this actually gave them some motivation, even if they're not aware of it, because it says they kind of degenerate down to that point where it is just that driving instinct. But the idea that it's based not out of dragging others down, but raising themselves back up is an interesting flip on the zombie side of it for me.
Yeah, I think ultimately though, I was almost interested when it seemed like they were actually going to get to leave. They're about to leave at the end of the issue before this fight about wanting to stay starts. And I thought, okay, maybe they do go back to the real world, and maybe like they have to make a choice to come back for some reason, or maybe, I don't know, like just divulging into this like civil war essentially between our players.
Yeah, you got to convince them that we need to go back, right?
Yeah, I mean that's fine and all. I don't think I like this world that much, and
that's fair.
It's just not for me. I've tried, but I've been feeling it dwindle for the last few issues, and at the end of this one, I'm like, yeah, this is a fine direction to go in, but like I'm good.
That's what I said about whether it'll make or break. It will either be these concepts at the end will interest you going forward, or you'll just feel the same, and you'll be like, and you'll know for sure whether you're done, right?
Yeah. I basically feel the same. Like. I get it. It's the whole book essentially thematically is about wanting to live in a fantasy, and the idea that that's what Saul wanted to do. He kept them all there, but now a couple of them, or at least Chuck, is kind of succumbing to that that seduction.
Power trip. Yeah.
He wants to be here now. And even though Isabel is saying that it's more noble, that she wants to be here because she sees them as people she actually wants to help, is that just a roundabout way of her feeling important? That she feels that she's doing something worthwhile? Because in the real world, she doesn't feel like she's doing something worthwhile. Because it mentions she's a teacher, that her kids don't care about her. She's trying to make a difference in the real world, but it feels like she's failing constantly. Whereas here, she actually feels like she's getting something done. But it's kind of an illusion. It's kind of, even though it feels more noble than Chuck, it maybe is just again about power and feeling like she actually.
It very much feels like it's going to be this character deconstruction as it goes on.
Yeah.
Into these motivations, which is what Gillen's very good at.
And the flip side of things, the other characters, it's like, okay, why can't they believe they can be important? If you flip it so that it's not just a one-sided thing, where they also have faults here because they don't want to believe they are needed here. They don't want to believe that, whatever. Like,
is it selfish of them to just want to go home?
Yeah, so I get what it's playing with. I do, but I'm good.
Just not feeling it as much.
I'm just not feeling it.
I get it.
I'm good.
I really like the fight with Sol as he's changing the rules, and the being the grandmaster, just like as the dungeon master, just changing the rules a little bit. Like it starts off quite severe. It's like anything that's flying is now frozen. And it's like, right, okay, that's quite a powerful bit. But then the next one is very restrictive. Like Ash can't use his power during daytime in Glasstown. It's very specific. And the concept, they thought, well, hang on, if he's having to get that specific, it means he's running out of power. Like, there is a limit on his powers, and if there's a limit on his powers, there must be on the others as well.
I will say Sol being defeated at the end of the first arc was a little surprising to me, and it felt like it was maybe a bit easy compared to what it felt like it was building up to so far. Like, he's this all-powerful being, he can control everything. Like, I thought they were really going to have to outsmart him, like, but instead it was just like goad him out and
I think that's kind of the point. Sol thinks he's this all-powerful being that can control everything, right? He's in charge of, and he's not, right? That's kind of the thing, that's his flaw, is that he thinks he is that, when really he is just as flawed as all of them. He thinks he can come out there and just take them on, and it'll be no problem for him, but they kind of take him out with relative ease.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking, like, okay, sure, physically in a fight, yeah, he can't actually win, but the idea that that's why he would keep his distance. That's why he would,
it's ego, right? He can't help himself. He's so sure of himself that he had to go there and stop them because of his creation in Glasstown.
But yeah, I guess I just kind of feel like, okay, I guess he's done.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least as the all-powerful. I'm sure he's still going to be around as a fallen or whatever, but
yeah. It makes me intrigued to see what the limits on the rest of their powers are. If he had limits of, okay, he's running out of power, is there a point where Ash's voice doesn't work on someone? Like, is there a limit to what they can compel someone to do? We've seen it have pretty strong compulsions so far, right? But I do wonder if there is a limit.
Yeah.
But it has me really, really interested going forward. It's taken a couple of months off now. I know there's the trades coming out in like June with the rules, with the rule book for the actual game to play yourself. Because Gillen's a mad bastard and has been doing that in his spare time alongside this, developing an actual rule book to play it. And it's this really weird concept where, so when you sit down and create your characters, you create your characters that you're going to be in the fantasy world, but then you create a second set of characters that you're going to be. So you role play as people role playing the game. So you would essentially role play yourself as Ash, and then role play as the dictator as Ash. It's this dual thing, and it's like, okay, that sounds weird and ambitious.
Yeah.
But then we're not getting any more of the next issue. I think is August, which is too damn long away.
Well, I'm good because I'm not reading it now.
Yeah.
No rush for me.
Yeah.
That's fine. What are you rating it?
I'm giving 8.5.
I'll give it This is a weird one to rate for me because
objectively it's not bad. You just weren't feeling it.
Yeah, I guess I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I have some critiques in it. I'm just not feeling it, but like I can't be that harsh on it either because it's not.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, of course. We're at the end of the show, and we're at the end of the two halves for YouTube. We do our end of show things. We our end of week favorites. We do pick our favorite panel / moment of the week, top 5 books, favorite cover, best art, that kind of thing. So Connor, what is your best panel / moment of the week?
Oh, it's tough. I think I'm gonna have to go from Hulk, one of the body horror transformations. I think maybe that first one in the round panel in the middle of the page, where it's the transformation from Banner into Hulk, and it's gruesomely fantastic.
That's fair. I think I'm going to have to go with Captain America. I'm going to have to go with in the prison when it goes to the full page spread of like he's realized that he's been used to start a riot, and we just like we see this full page of like the entire cafeteria is just in combat. Yeah. And I have to go with that. Best cover of the week.
It's a tough one. A lot of good covers this week, actually.
I'm going with
If
Hulk.
I go with War of the Realms, can I do the wraparound version that has both halves? Because I assume that's just printed on the back.
Yeah, sure.
Then I'll go with that because I think that's a fantastic image.
I'm going with Hulk. You got Alex Ross.
Oh, Alex Ross yet again! What a surprise!
And you got him on the harmonica, and it's all very nice.
And the Hulk in the moon.
Yeah, this is gorgeous cover. We talk about.
It is. I'm just you always pick it when it's available.
Hey, to be fair, Captain America's Alex Ross as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had choice between 2 Alex Ross covers.
Man, he went really hard on the red, white, and blue color scheme on that Captain America, didn't he?
Oh, he did. What's your favorite art of the week?
This is tough because now I have to choose between Dauterman and Hans.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give it War of the Realms. I think Wilson's colours are pushing over the edge for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Might be the first time since Die started that it hasn't got picked.
I actually have to go with Cap and go with Kubert.
Ah, I'm so a little bit surprised by that. I know Kubert's very good, but given that
were you expecting Black Hammer 45?
No, but coming off of a view that we had before. You were like, Kubert's all right. It's pretty good. And I know when we did the review, you said, it's grown on with the distance away from it.
It's really, really good. It's got the right tone's perfect for the book. It's just not you, which was even more perfect for the book.
I don't disagree with that.
I mean, obviously, Realms is really good, and Die obviously had really good art, but as well.
Yes, it's the one thing in that book you've never complained about.
Well, obviously, I'm not blind.
Yeah.
So, which leads us on to what, top 5 books?
Yes.
Did I have 5? 2, 3, 4. I did. I had exactly 5. Okay.
Light week for you.
Light week for me, yeah. For me. I'm pretty sure on the first half, in the YouTube version that's split in half, I'm pretty sure I said I was going to read a couple of other things and then didn't. Again, blame the 25 issues of Thor that I had to read in the last 3 days.
Yes. Oh, that's the other thing you didn't read was Amazing Spider-Man 18.hu.
Oh, that's right. I actually read the first 2-3 pages and said I don't want to read the rest of this. it was an issue about the
Gibbon.
Yeah, I'm glad you knew what that was because I was never going to remember that. I read 2 pages. I'm like, is this all going to be about the Gibbon? And I was like, I'm good. You know what? I don't care about this, dude.
Are you skipping all the HU issues, or just that? The other ones that are more maybe recognizable characters. Are you maybe more?
I'll see which one who's who. Because with Black Cat, at least, I'm like, she's been a part of this story or this arc up until now. This run. She's been involved.
Yeah.
It felt relevant to me. This is so, and it's not to say that obviously this could be you could get a great one shot of a character you don't know. You absolutely could. I've got too much to read though to be like, oh, I want to read a one shot about the Gibbon. I've never heard of the goddamn Gibbon before.
Yeah, I think the end of the last issue said which ones the other books were. If I can, oh, maybe it was the issue before. Oh, never mind.
Anyway,
yeah.
What's your top 5?
Number 1 is War of the Realms,
and
number 2 is Die. Number 3 is Immortal Hulk. 4, Captain America. And 5, Star Wars.
My number 1 is probably Immortal Hulk. My number 2 is Captain America. My number 3 is War of the Realms. My number 4 is Black Hammer 45. And number 5 is Die.
It's not. You had a good top 3 for you.
Yes. Yes. I mean, well,
And then it fell off.
Obviously, Black Hammer is not a bad story. I like, I typically like Black
Yeah,
Hammer
but you
a lot.
struggled with the art, didn't you?
Yeah. It's all top 3. Yeah, later week. So yeah, what's coming next week? I mean, that's something I should tell you.
Quite a lot, if I recall.
We'll see how it goes. So we have War of the Realms running into Mystery Issue 1, the first of the tie-ins. So we'll be looking at that. X-23 Issue 11, Symbiote Spider-Man Issue 1, Amazing Spider-Man 19, Captain Marvel 4, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 5, Winter Soldier 5. There's 2 Star Wars Age of Republic books, apparently.
Yes, there is. We've got one is Princess Leia and the other is Tarkin.
And Rolling Island issue 2 is out, which we'll definitely be checking out as well, because we like the first issue of that.
Which got bumped up to a 12-issue series.
There you go.
From a 5.
That was a
thanks
6.
to strong sales. No, it was 5.
Was it 5? Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah.
So as per usual, or as is the new norm, you'll get 4 or 5 of those in the first part, and you'll get the other 4 or 5 in the second part on YouTube. Audio, same as it always has been up with the whole show, although the order's a little bit different now to account for the 2 halves.
And you get a news interlude.
And a news interlude.
Which may have solicits next week.
Yeah.
Given that they've been announcing books this week, probably.
Yeah, they'll be next week. Yeah, solicits will be next week. Yeah. Should be just in time for us recording the last part.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that'll bring an end to this half then. The 14B episode, if you will, on YouTube. So this will be a new thing again every week where we'll do the show in 2 halves. This second half was still a little bit later than we intended it to be because I had to catch up on Thor. But it should be a day or 2 earlier going forward, so that it's a bit more timely. But yeah, so similar thing will be happening next week, where there'll be a part 1 with 4 or 5 books, and then part 2 closer to the new release day.
Yeah, should be around the weekend and then Tuesday probably.
Yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday morning.
So yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, so by all means, let us know what you thought of the books in the show, and tell us what your favourites of the week were for this past week. You can like and subscribe, of course, and you can do all that sort of stuff. That does support us, as does, of course, going over to patreon.com, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month. Patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You get some stuff early, you get some exclusives, you get some bonuses. You can even make us read some comics if you want to make us feel,
if you insist,
miserable. So you can do that. But otherwise, that is us. Get us at DC Comics Podcast or at mailed_fuzz, depending on if you want Mailed Fuzz General or comic book stuff specifically. You can go and check out those. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading comics. Keep reading Marvel comics. But remember that assembly is required.